We're wired right to create. This isn't something that you have to try to do. You just have to get beyond the memory of your past association to create a new future. Now, theoretically, that sounds really easy, but everybody's done it at least once in your life. What's happened? You got a wild idea. Yeah, got a crazy idea. And you think, what would it be like to be happy? What would it be like to be in love? Oh, it'd be like, what'd be like to be rich? Whatever it is. And yes, are you all of a sudden you ask that question and you turn into the creative center in your brain. That's right. It turns on. Yes. And then now the frontal lobe is the boss. It's the CEO. It's a symphony leader. And the frontal lobe as an executive has connections to all other parts of the brain. And when you ask that question, it's got to answer it. So it's got to look over the landscape and see what kind of raw materials do I have? Well, you only have a few things. Knowledge you've learned and experiences you had. So it begins to call up different networks of neurons and begin to seamlessly piece them together. And you get a vision in your mind, that content. And if you are passionate, you start to feel the feelings of when it happens. Now you're going to give your body that energetic boost. Now everyone's done in this moment. You've said that no one can talk to you out of person. That's right. No thing, no experience. You're possessed by it. So then what happens next? You start writing down. Yeah, all the choices you need to make. Like all the things you got to do, all the goals and experiences you want in your future. And every time you write one of those goals and experiences now, you start to feel more of those emotions. And now you're basically assembling more of your future. Now the astute person does something really amazing. They start learning more information. You want to be wealthy? Study wealthy people. You want to be healthy? Study healthy people. As you begin to gain more knowledge, you're adding more stitches into the three-dimensional tapestry, and you got more raw material to dream new ways. Now, here's the part that is most important. Take out a piece of paper and say, what fonts do I have to stop thinking, I can't start tomorrow too hard. I don't feel like I have a headache. I gotta go to sleep. I'm tired. You list those thoughts and become so conscious of those thoughts that you would never let one of those thoughts slip by your awareness unchecked. By you can. I say something about that I want to jump into that one of the powers of writing those thoughts down is you completely eliminate them and weaken their influence over you. They become minimized when you write them. They lose their power over you when you grab control of them by writing them down. So significantly powerful exercises to write down those thoughts. From a neurological standpoint, what's called metacognition, because the moment you can observe the thought and become conscious of it, you're no longer the program. Your consciousness observing the program, and you begin to literally objectify your subjective self. And now you're pulling out. So then write down the choices that you have to stop making. Look at the things that you have to stop doing. You are complaining to make excuses to blame other people. What to do with those lists and be really honest with yourself. What experiences do you have to stay away from the certain people at certain times and would stay away from them so that you are not in the environment that triggers it. And that here's the most important point, okay? Write down those emotions that keep you anchored to the past, because those emotions are literally residue from the past chemically. So then the moment that you start feeling suffering, the moment you start feeling guilt, the moment you start feeling unworthy, the moment you start feeling despair, when you start feeling any of these emotions, you're back in your past, yes, and you can't see the future. You're you're thinking in those emotional states. And we've looked at enough brain stance to say that when you think within a certain emotion, you're going to make your brain work. So this research on memory says 50% of what you talked about in the past isn't even the truth, that you don't believe the same brain then. You make stuff up, which means now you're reliving the past that you didn't even have, just to embellish it, to produce the emotions, to reaffirm your limited state.